Hi, it's Hazel and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. I am filming this today for a variety of reasons. Number one, I'm about 5 days post-surgery, and if you've ever taken a break from making YouTube videos, you know that it doesn't take long to get rusty. So that's part of the reason. I honestly don't know how well my voice is going to hold up. I find that I've been pretty croaky lately, so I don't know. I don't know. You're not going to probably find anything particularly earth-shattering in this video, other than I will be sort of working vintagey, grungy, because I'm working on the journal that I'm swapping with Brenda Clark, aka the Simple Crafter. This could be a problem. Anyway, if you are a regular viewer, and thank you so much if you are, you know that Brenda and I met, that must have been maybe early May, and I proposed the idea of doing a journal swap. She was all in, and because my surgery was upcoming and blah, 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 we didn't really set an end date. We just knew that, we would each work on our own thing, and then when the time was right, we would meet again to do the swap. Now, of course, anything that I do in regard to to that project will not be shown until after that exchange has taken place. Anyway, this is probably not ending up in the book, but I did want to show you something. You know how, well, maybe you don't, I love making masterboards. And I do them in books and so on, and just on loose sheets of paper. But a little while ago, I probably didn't even show it on a haul video, I thrifted something from Value Village that was obviously made up of some beautiful scrapbooking paper. And I thought, oh, great, this would be a good prototype. Well, when I got it home and had a better look at it, I realized, no, I would never make one of these for myself. So I began the process of taking it apart. And, the other thing that this video may reveal, especially if you're just trying to figure out what makes paper crafters tick, is I don't know how many other people would do what I've been doing. So essentially, somebody had used a tape runner, pretty well just in an X shape, and had backed cardstock paper to cardstock, and then on the other side was another piece of cardstock. So you can imagine how thick that was. So I began separating these things. I threw all the inside papers away, but there were a lot of papers that I really liked, so I began salvaging them. And where I could, I peeled the hard layer off, and I'm basically just left with a pretty thin piece of paper. So these are some of the things that I have left. But as I was doing this, you can imagine, like, this is still sticky. So if this tape residue sticks to something, it will ruin something else. Oh, here's another chunk. So anyway, basically what I did was try to get as many usable pieces as I could, which then led to, well, okay, now that I have these scraps, what am I going to do with them? So I started making masterboards, and I'll just quickly show them to you. They are perhaps stranger than or not stranger, but more like different than the ones. Oh, sorry about this. This is still me recovering from that ill-fated intravenous needle. Oh, and this ring. I have been, I bought, I guess it was an online auction. I had bid on some jewelry lots. And of course, there's nothing more fun than open. I'm just trying to get rid of this so I don't ruin anything else here. I washed them, warm soapy water, set them out on a tray, on a towel, on a tray to dry, and removed, screwbacks and clip-ons from earrings and so on. Set aside a couple of pairs of cufflinks, although I don't think my husband will ever use them. But anyway, a couple pairs of cufflinks. And in this journey, I found a 925 silver bracelet that my daughter is probably interested in. It's a tri-gold color, a braided mesh bracelet, and a couple of rings that I just put on and wear and think, okay, if it's stainless steel, great, no problemo. If it is something else, I'm going to get a rash, and then we know for sure. So anyway, that's what that is. Okay, and still wearing pajamas, because I think I still need that physical reminder that, kid, you're on the mend. Don't do anything dumb. Like I was in a bit of discomfort yesterday because I think I overdid something. Anyway, enough about that. Okay, so this is one of the master boards. Now, I had done it. Maybe I should flip them over like this. I had done it on some scrapbooking paper. I tried to pick ones that either I didn't care for or that I thought could be written on without any additional work. So there's that. Love this little polka dot. And, yeah, this is right. No, this is right set up. Kind of did this tealy pinky one. This looks like satin. And this is what this one is like. So it's all these sort of these rugosa or cabbage rose type things. This one looks like some kind of lace. And, at first, I was just using, if I had a big chunk like this or a big chunk like this, I would put it down. But then, of course, in no time at all, I'm out of big chunks, and I ended up having to do some patchwork. So these things are not complete by any stretch of the imagination. And then this one. So that's just a little show and tell about that. I'm going to set that aside. Anyway, but you saw, I still have all of these. But what you also don't know is that I have all of these. And as crazy as it will appear to some people, I thought, okay, I can still use these. And that's when I decided I should turn on the camera. Now, the brief that I got from, or the wish list that I got from Brenda, the first color she mentioned was red, but she also said she loved, okay, reds, blues, grunge, purple, creams, and she loves vintage and grunge. So I thought, okay, I have a certain admiration or whatever for grunge. Haven't, really chosen to do too much in that regard. So isn't this a great opportunity to get pushed in that direction? So now, if you saw the earlier videos, you know that I bought 2 books. One for her, I actually bought 4 books. They were from 1943, and they had a very unusual blue cover. So what did I end up doing? I ended up covering the cover that was so unique and so beautiful and in such great shape. Because I thought, there's nothing more grungy than, sort of wrinkled up, brown paper. The paper that I used was this. It was a bag, I guess, probably Christmas bag from Panera. And I just ended up balling it up so there'd be even more creases in it. I did do a bit of inking. Now, you know that I don't necessarily do very much inking. Not that I don't like it, it just seems like it's a lot of work, kind of, and I don't really think it's necessary in some of the things that I do. Anyway, I ended up covering the book, which is dumb. I mean, well, it's okay, but it's because I couldn't reconcile that blue with some of the other things that I knew were going on in here. Now, this paper that I used as end papers was something that I'd obviously had on my desk. There's some gesso, there's some stamping, there's some, who knows what some of that stuff is. And I thought, okay, that's grunge. I had this upholstery sample that is kind of, well, it's heavier weight. And it's a good thing I wasn't taping the making of this cover because it was a bit spooky. I ended up, of course, having to build up the spine in a total fluky case. The height of the pieces, I needed 3 thicknesses to make it thick enough to make it flush with the rest, like the original book board. They were the perfect height, so I just cut them down. I didn't make them too wide, so there's no problem closing. Anyway, I originally intended to, well, I wanted a hidden spine, but you kind of have to use your head a bit, think ahead, and do things in a particular order. Some of this is inexplicable, but anyway, I started gluing the brown paper onto the back cover. And then I realized, oh, if I don't turn some of this under, I'm going to end up with that blue showing. Here's a piece of old tape that I glued down. And then I realized, well, okay, so I had my new spine, or my spine reinforcement. I had made my holes. We agreed on 3 signatures, so 3 hole pamphlet stitch, 3, 3 signatures. So, I don't know whether you can tell or not, but I did make the holes, like on the back side of that. Before I glued the reinforced spine down, I had made my marks, punctured through them just with my little, this thing, awl. But I thought, okay, I have to be able to know where to aim from this side. And then I realized, okay, well, this isn't going to be a hidden spine after all, because I ended up covering up the spine in the process. So there will be an exposed spine, but it will, you know, I always have the opportunity. I don't know what the heck this is, and I should stop picking at it. Piece of lint or something, or a fiber in this weave, because it's really quite coarse. It must be an upholstery fabric. Anyway, it is what it is. So there will be an exposed spine. If I have to cover that up, I will. So, when I met with Brenda, I said, you know, I have some eco-dyeing pages that kind of look almost as though I had singed them or something. And her eyes light up, and I'm thinking, okay, we've got to use that, obviously. Anyway, I have some signature. I have my signatures pretty well figured out, 3 of them. I decided that maybe because I will be doing some, you know, different techniques, or not different, but, you know, things I don't normally do, that it would be better if I did some of the decorating before I sew them in, just to make it easier. So, much of this, and I guess that's the advantage of grunge, is that you can really use up things that are just lying around, and there's not enough of it to figure out a place to store it or create a place to store it. It's just a matter of use it, don't store it. So this is tissue that I had put over an envelope. I mean, this isn't really a flip through, but I'll show you what I have done so far. And then I thought, okay, on a video like this, I want to obviously get all this off my desk. So I'm just going to start doing some basic decorating. So I used some scraps here on this repair tag. Oh, you know what? These things are like hen's teeth, very precious, or like unicorns. They don't exist. Oh, Brenda, you're lucky. You're getting one of my very, very, very few repair tags. And someone had gifted them to me. I think it was Carol. Anyway, of course, I am having to do, or I probably said that already. I'm doing more inking, which is okay. This is gathered twigs. I also pulled out some of my grungiest washi, thinking that that will, finally an opportunity to use it. And at this point, all I'm doing with this one is leaving it in this pocket, knowing that I'll come back to it and add a focal point or whatever. So, this, I'm pretty pleased with this. This was a record sleeve, like one of those cello type things that would have gone around a 78 record. I folded it in half to create some pockets. So from this side, this will be a side loading. And because there are, because of the way I folded it, like here, top loading, side loading. So I just used some paper and some washi there. On here, on this side, I used some of that eco-dyed stuff, more of the paper from my desk, a big chunk of washi. You can see that I've used some coffee-dyed paper, and this is an old form from somewhere. This is a piece of, or partial thing, an old ledger. Glued that down. I glued this partial price tag. There's a little tab at the top there. Anyway, then I get to a page like this, and I'm thinking, oh, that's pretty starkly white. So that was kind of when I decided to turn on the camera. And I will just quickly, and I guess this is probably also an indication how perhaps I work when there's nobody around to see anything. So let's just... Oh, this is a list of things I still haven't found. Hey, wouldn't it be great if I could find my butter wrappers? That would be a nice piece of something to include. So you can see that this is just a book page. It kind of has an old-timey illustration. I love using this Punchinello. These are the bigger holes. Just in a very random way to add a bit of design and take away some of the to add some interest to the background paper. So again, by doing some of this stuff, by adding these little bits that are on my desk and annoying me, I am getting rid of that sort of, stark white. Not that there's anything wrong with white. Like with writers, sometimes it's called writer's block. People not that anyone is really using typewriters for that, but suppose you were writing the great Canadian novel. You rolled a pristine piece of white paper into your typewriter, planted your butt firmly on the chair, and okay, now go. Well, that's a lot of pressure. So sometimes it's similar with crafting. You want to do something. What did I have as a center? Oh, this wrapping, or this, whatchamacallit. Try not to sew things in upside down if you can possibly help it. But this automatically makes this page, this book page, look more like it fits. Not sure what I'm going to do there, but so there's that. And I will obviously do a flip through at some point. And maybe I'll do other sort of progress videos as I'm working on different elements. So at this point, what I'm basically looking for are things that I've already sort of planned to use, or pages that need some help. You know, this has this old embroidery zigzagged onto it, but that in itself is probably not enough. So, you know, do I glue something down, or, you know, this flippy thing here. You know, there's an opportunity to add something there. Now, I do, well, I did find some fabric-y type things too. Now, I'll have to look through my snippets before I go around making new ones, but wouldn't this be a great tie? Now, mind you, if I pulled off all the loose threads, maybe it'll disappear entirely. But anyway, it just looks like the ultimate thing, the ultimate grunge. Don't know if this color will be part of this or not. Okay, so here's some red, and I remember thrifting. This was a, you know, like a women of a certain age type of jacket that, or blazer or whatever, that somebody would have worn. And it had all can't get rid of that thing, all kinds of these different elements. So certainly there's red here, and I'll be able to use it somewhere. Some coffee dyed, what do you call this, cheesecloth. This is some flannelette. Now, like I said, I have these small snippets or small scraps that could end up being clusters or page tabs or whatever. This is a piece of fabric that I've used in the past. I mean, obviously not this piece, but this is maybe the remainder of it. And what I kind of like about this, it does kind of have that almost that scorched look to it. Just like this, I must have dyed this at one point, scrunched it up, left it like that to dry. And of course, I've told you before, shown you before, that the dye, whatever it is, with coffee, tea, whatever, avocado, will pool and gather in places where, you know, where it'll pool and gather in some places, and that's the result you get. So now I think that I would, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet, but some of this might get worked into it. I also have some fabric that I rusted, so I should probably find some of that and use it. Now, whether or not this gets ironed, where did I put that book cover? You know, at this point, it's all still up for negotiation. Not too many things have been eliminated. Now, this is the side with the ham, which is kind of nice. Maybe that could even go around. That would be a great way to cover up my stitching eventually. So the way I do it, I have a bin, a basket, a tote, multiple containers where I keep anything and everything that I think might end up in the final project. So for now, that's sitting there as a reminder. So there's, you know, like I say, these fabric bits that could also be used. But if the object here today, that pink doesn't seem to do anything here. I don't like that. Let's just throw something away. Now this, there's not much of this left. And of course, by the time I get rid of almost the see-through parts, this might be a good choice here because it does have that straight edge that I could line up at the top of the pocket. I should be throwing some of these things straight in the garbage. And it does tend to pick up on whatever's happening over here. So I might just, or do I want to put this at the bottom? Yeah. Where's I'll just quickly, and you know how I feel about inking in front of you, but sometimes it cannot be helped. So I hope that you are all well. It is, you know, I think today's the 10th of June. So I'm sure people are planning, you know, summer vacations. If your grandkids aren't already out of school, it's probably only a matter of time. So I think people's mindsets become, you know, a little different. I heard on TV that there was a really, I don't know if it's early or not, but kind of a real heat wave going on in the southern states, and I can only imagine how miserable that is. It's been kind of unseasonably cool here, so I don't know what's up with that, but okay, let's keep going. Oh, Brenda loves mushrooms. So I've shown you before. I have two of these. I've got lint hanging on me. Two of these types of sticker books, and I have them listed in my Amazon list as well. Anyway, beside these types of small images, there are at the different sections. Look at all the mushrooms. The heck was that? Oh, at the different sections, there are these. Where is the corner here? These page-sized, gigantic stickers. So I used one of the mushroom ones so far here, kind of to stabilize and strengthen this gift wrap. So that guy's there. I almost had to cut the tip of his nose off when the paper seemed a bit wide, but I saved it. That would be called a rhinoplasty if you have to remove part of a nose. Little pocket there, put a sticker there. Oh, I also used part of a bag, and it's stitched at top and bottom. You can see that I opened it up so that what's going on here? Oh, I didn't realize this was, I didn't realize I made little pockets there. How clever. I should put something in there to remind myself to put something in there. Anyway, so we could do some decorating on here, and maybe that's a good thing to get started on. Otherwise, I'm just talking and not really doing. So let's see what we have here. And again, you know, for those of us who love to collage things, using up bits like this is, well, pure joy. And it also, do I want to cover all that up or maybe not? Maybe I'll put this down here. If I can preserve or make a straight edge work for me, I will. This is going to have to get thrown out for the most part because of that sticky stuff. And you know, I have a thrift, well, this is, I probably bought it maybe after COVID when garage sales were allowed again. A tape, a two-sided tape dispenser. I think they call it AGF or something. And mega rolls. And I paid a fair bit for it because I kind of knew the value of it from our framing business. Maybe I'll just quickly glue some of those things down and not overthink this. So I do have some rolls that I could use a tape dispenser with. I also have just the, you know, the ones that you find in craft stores or thrift stores. Somehow I never think of using that double-sided tape. But a person should, because I don't imagine it improves with age. So, I don't know. Anyway, I see this is, those cups are sideways. Well, I guess that's how it's going to be. I forgot what I was going to say. I might as well put this little kid thing down here at the bottom of the page. Yeah, don't seal your newly discovered pockets with a scrap piece of paper. It also made me feel pretty happy to use up the oh, see, wouldn't it have been good to, maybe I can still do it, to sort of darken that torn edge. No, it was in the, you know, the weeks leading up to my surgery that Angela, the traveling crafter, was doing her, can't remember what she said it was called, thing where she was using up 25, I think, sheets of scrapbooking paper, 12 by 12s, and making, you know, millions of pieces of, and I mean millions, pieces of, now that is pretty straight, but maybe if I just tear into it here and there, it won't, because that bag edge is not torn. I mean, is torn, not straight, so having something straight against it looks a bit goofy. Anyway, of course, I couldn't, you know, play along with her because I had my own stuff. I was trying to do videos. I was trying to work on that baby book that I was commissioned to do. Still haven't been notified that the baby has been born, by the way. Still don't know the gender. Still don't know what I'm doing for a cover. But I'm in good shape. Anyway, I do like the idea of using up 12 by 12s. Well, any kind of paper for that matter. Oops, that's a bit crooked. I have to say, too, that paper bag cover that or that paper that I used to cover the cover is so it feels so wonderful. Like, I don't know how that's even possible. It's the humblest of papers. Maybe the only thing worse than that is newsprint in terms of quality. But it feels so good. And it reminded me that I had done, probably during the 100-day project, that I had made a bunch of faux leather covers. And I'm thinking, okay, and what, pray tell, are you saving that for? And I might just, for the sake of moving on, let's just leave that there. Maybe let's add some of this. Because again, my goal here today was to get rid of this pile of paper. Now, the $64,000 question. Do you cover the stitching or do you lay this thing right on the stitching? I think that looks a bit goofy, so I'm going to make it flush with the edge of the... Anyway, I have to say, you know, I got carried away with the tree journals last year. I got going, I'm still not done, with the blush journals and ended up with so much stuff that it'll probably be 4 journals. I likewise with the, let's maybe do something in the other pocket. Now, if I put this red thing here, you know that that's going to determine what else can go on that page or in that pocket, but that's okay. It has been pretty nice to simultaneously work on Brenda's journal, work on the baby book, and work on, I could just, maybe I better tear that down now. The prize. See, and I haven't gone to the comments that you guys have left, and I better do that today, maybe while this video is uploading. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that it's kind of refreshing to do a one-off. Oh, I know what I started. The third example, of course, is the prize, the journal that I would be offering once we hit 1,000 subscribers. That would be the giveaway. So for now, I'm going to leave this. Now, I could obviously do some stenciling, and I can use something other than just that. But for now, let's pretend that we're happy with that. I had done some pockets. I added this ruffle. So there's that thing. Now, mind you, well, like I said, I will... If I don't start gluing some stuff down, I'm never going to get through this. Anyway, we'll, I guess once I neaten up some of the edges, they're not quite as big or curly as they appear now. Yeah, kind of nice to do one-offs because it keeps a person fresh, presumably, and interested. Oh, see, I could put this here. And again, if I get good adhesion, then I don't have to worry that, oh, at some point, maybe I want to put a pocket on the page, or let's do it this way so you can see what's happening. you know, or paper clip something onto there. So that's a good thing. Oops. This is, you know, by the time you've peeled off 1 or 2 layers, this is really very thin. What is left here of this paper, of this cardstock, is really pretty thin. See, so this, it takes away the white, the starkness of the blank paper, and it lays the foundation for doing something more at some point. I could also, I suppose, that kind of takes away from it, I think. Okay, so centerfold, other side of the bag, little mushroom sticker. I haven't done anything with the wallpaper. Oh, I have this. This is an avocado dyed CD envelope. Let's do something with that. Now I'm going to glue it. It's like I'm asking you. I'm going to glue it? Question mark. Now I kept trimming this piece of paper down so that I knew that I wasn't, boy, that doesn't look very straight, does it? But is that, you know what, I should try to, while I still have access to this thing, I should check the time too. I'm going to see if I can come on, baby, work with me, work with me. Oh my goodness. What I wanted to do was try to get this sort of lined up so that if I cut a deeper opening, deeper access to the pocket, it will be somewhat symmetrical. Where did I put my scissors? Oh, there they are. Now that, if I cover it, will be reinforced. That little, this, whatever this thing is here. Oh, and see, I kind of tore that and tore that. So now, but at least, sorry to keep bringing this stuff back and forth like this, but at least now you have a better chance of getting something in there. I wonder. Okay, let's actually try. I placed an order because I didn't have any time cards. I placed an online order and I got it. Oh, those are thick. Anyway, let's pretend that that was something that would actually fit in there. So that's not too bad. I guess it fits. And another thing I got were these little clothing tags. Now they're, of course, too white to use as is, but oh, I thought I pulled out 3. it was funny, you know, after surgery, they always want to make sure that, whoa, that's a bit much, that you don't get a blood clot. So one of the things I had were those, I call them motorized compression stockings, knee to ankle. And anyway, so they injected a blood thinner, and they do it in the upper arm because apparently it hurts less there. And I don't know if in the process she hit a nerve of some sort, but I'll tell you, thumb, index finger, and the middle one were numb for a while, to the point that I was dropping my spoon when I was trying to eat my cream of wheat. So that is a very creepy feeling. And luckily, for them, you know, has gone away. See, now by going off on a tangent and doing this inking, and now having it, you know, as opposed to a million, having 3 that I can put in the project box or project bin, means that I will remember, I will be aware, I will incorporate it in some way. And of course, we know that these things, something like this, could be a tab. It could be the back part, the base of a dangle. It could be, you know, whoops, you probably can't see anything over there. You know, not that I'd stick it here, but it could be a side tuck, whatever. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let me see the time. If this is getting too long, I'm quitting. I'm going to stop at mid-sentence. Not quite, although that has happened. Okay, we know that there's a tear here. So the first thing we have to do is reinforce it. And I probably want a relatively, okay, this is going like this. And that could go sideways. And it's kind of a bonus that it has that little bit of red on there. Now, is that bear going to look dumb if he's sideways? Okay, I said this is, no, this is going this way. And I used to worry with altering envelopes and so on, or decorating junk mail envelopes, that, oh my goodness, you know, this, but what if this breaks, not breaks, but broaches the edge of this line, like it's going to be so bad. I think I'm going to use this even though that bear will be sideways. But I think it actually adds interest instead of driving yourself insane thinking, oh, I must cut that exactly straight there. It actually looks better if you have a more, in my opinion, a more rigid, see, and I could even fold this, and that's exactly what I'll do. Fold that under and it further reinforces that. So, you know, sometimes maybe we're our own worst enemies, and we can make life a little easier on ourselves just by, by easing up on our expectations of ourselves. Okay, so because I had dry fit this and made that fold, I know exactly sort of where to position it at this point. Now, I don't want to press down fully until I fold this part under. Now I can flatten the living daylights out of it. And looks like I'm going to, well, I will have to reinforce that in some ways also. So, maybe let's do that. Okay, I have to keep remembering. What did I say? This is going to, yeah, this, should I put a tiny little T there? Because boy, oh boy, it seems like I'm just going to put a little T there. So that's the top. And maybe I'll put a little T here as well. Because, you know, a person could lose their minds. Now, sometimes when you have something like this, it would be a good idea. Now, maybe, you know, wax paper or something would work better, but it would be a good idea. Oh, number one, it would be a good idea to ink it in case I'm not totally up to the edge. But it also prevents you getting glue on something that shouldn't have glue on it. So we're kind of, oh, that's torn there too, so that will need reinforcing. But for now, let's cover this up with something. So what did I say? That's the top, which means that if I want something kind of halfway readable, everything seems to be kind of going contrary to what I need it to do. I could put this here. Again, I should probably wrap it around the edge. Yeah, let's do the fold again. Using the straight line as a, I like the factory edge, as an indication, you know, so that you're kind of somewhat straight. So I'm gluing that down. That doesn't look straight. What's going on here? Now, we know that quite often these, like obviously everything is made in a factory, so again, turning that under slightly. I mean, I didn't have much to work with there, but actually this could be just like a, I could totally collage this like a masterboard. Maybe I could do that. Yeah, I'll do that. And any surplus will get wrapped to the inside. And again, serve to reinforce that a bit. So is that going to... That's not going to fold very nicely, so why don't I don't know, do you understand what my dilemma is here? Since I have a bit of a curvature there, and I want that to lie flat, I've just cut a little snip, so that can go that way, that can go that way, and it kind of works. Okay. Oh, so that, and this is my top. I guess that's okay. The other, well, it's too late at this point, though, I guess, unless I was willing to cut the edge off. Kind of whatever I'm overlapping or wrapping around is starting to show there, so, maybe I need to pretend that that was my plan all along and add something more to the mix here. Is that going to look goofy, though? I want something a little bigger. Maybe rather than trimming that white edge. Oh, this is gluey. I have to say, when you start using a book block, a text block for a glue book, you can, gradually get through a few of these things. So that might have to be my new MO to get rid of some stuff. Do I just want that? I guess if I do it sort of artsy-fartsy, people will think, oh, isn't she clever? That must be what she wanted to do. It's not that it's incomplete. Ha. Fooled another one. Anyway, okay, this is the last thing I'm gluing, and then I'm out of here, baby. Okay, maybe if I used my, my card. Didn't mean to pound the desk. I only do that occasionally. If I'll just say one thing, I do write or for about 20 years, 20, I don't know, 22, 25 years, I've been writing a weekly column. And recently I wrote one about, the price of postage and so on, and how it affects those of us that are, it feels like I need to add one more piece. How it affects those of us that are, having online and home-based businesses and blah, 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 and shipping and the consequences of all that. Anyway, so in there, like in a call to action, I was basically saying to the readers, like if you're being affected by high postal costs or whatever, reach out to your MP. So I thought, well, okay, like walk the talk. So I did that. I know the person who is the MP's member of Parliament's constituency office, I don't know, manager, whatever the title would be. Like, I know her from before. So I reached out to her. I said what I was kind of, what am I looking for? Maybe I have to finish this story, so I'll keep gluing something. So I reached out to her and I said, basically I laid the groundwork, and I thought I did a pretty good job of summarizing kind of the history and putting things in context and so on. So rather than write a letter or me ramble on and hope that she's taken some half-decent notes, why don't I just email her the column? So I did that, and she said that she would, and my MP is not in government, they're in in opposition. So, and not that one letter from one little constituent on one little farm in Alberta is going to drive policy, but maybe my complaint or my letter ends up being the 101st thousandth complaint about the same thing. Anyway, you never know. So I basically did my little preamble, and I did send that. And of course, she said that whoever works for her in Ottawa, she would draw it to her attention there as well. So I guess I'm just rattling on about this because I think that, which is top here? Oh, right there. That sometimes we have more power than we think we do, or again, have no idea if anything is going to change. I did, contrast or say that, I have American friends and they tell me there's something called media mail. Now, of course, media mail my understanding, is media. It's not going to help you if you sell widgets, because media is media, which I'm taking to be books and magazines. And I'm sure that in Canada there is that sort of break for probably publishers, not people like us. Anyway, so as I'm doing my little preamble, she says, well, just to let you know, she said, we get, the office, every constituency office in the province, no, in the country it would be, gets so many, flags. And people sometimes call their constituency office and they ask for a flag. I know that when I was a festival coordinator, I asked for flags. Like, we were a not-for-profit, so why would I want to spend our precious dollars buying flags if I could get one for free? So she says, because it's a finite number of flags, we don't give them to individuals, we give them to not-for-profits and people like that, or groups like that, or events. She says, but now we've gotten to the point where we ask people, where's my T on this side? I guess it stands to reason that if it was top on that side, it's top on this side. Anyway, she says, we now ask people, that's a blob of glue there. We now ask people to come to the office and pick them up. She says, because, I guess there's something, a little wooden doohickey or something on the flag, or as part of the mechanism for hanging the flag, that is just a wee bit thicker than what this admittedly soft little package the thickness of this package would be if you were throwing it in the mail. She says it now costs $26 to mail a flag. So I think that whether you're Joe Public, mailing stuff, a birthday present to the grandkid or something, or whether you're a business, or whether you're a constituency office, that it is criminal. And I don't know. Now, in Canada, the Postal Service is not government. It's like a crown corporation. So, it's not like government runs the post office, but there is oversight. And she did say there is a ministry, and I don't know which one it is, that oversees the operation of this. So, I don't know. Anyway, all I'm saying is, sometimes we can maybe translate our complaints into some action. It almost looks like I'm covering up this whole thing. And maybe I should stop there, because whatever I choose to put in here is going to be busyness on its own. So I guess if I'm adding more, let's just see how this kind of looks here. Maybe the side to add it to. That's not what I wanted to do. And of course I will erase that little T at some point. So this flap would get glued on there, or maybe I'd put it on this side so I don't interfere with those flowers. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll put this here. And boy, that looks crooked to me. Or is it this crease that's throwing me off? Anyway, yeah, that would go there. This would flip out. So there's room to write there or add a focal point or whatever. Anyway, I'm going to stop there because this has gone on quite long enough. But I guess my saying, if you make a poster, start a protest march, write a letter, talk to others who might be affected by the same thing, and who knows, maybe we can make some changes. Goodness knows it doesn't happen overnight, but anyway, guys, thanks so much for being here. I will continue to not post, but tape some of the progress on this. And this will get glued down eventually. I just, well, it will get glued down, and maybe I could even do that now. I just wanted this to be able to dry overnight. Anyway, this is what we have so far. Now, typically, I don't really let my stuff get that close to the edge, but Brenda, another thing she said is that she doesn't mind gator mouth, so hey. And this will get sucked in a bit when I sew the signatures in. So anyway, guys, that is where we're going to stop today. While I'm uploading this video, I think I better start replying to some of your comments because, like, I gotta do that. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye.